I'm not sure if everybody's had a look at this, but I'm just going to do quite a quick run through because there's quite a lot of stuff that's maybe hidden away and so on. So this is what the new dashboard's like. John, can you see that all clear enough?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. I'm going to come back. If you look at the top left here, there's dashboard, learning paths, resources, and focus tools. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. This is the main Launchpad training here. And as you work through, it's got this nice little device which just shows you which part you're on. Now, I'm still on module one, and I'll explain why in a minute because I've started it again 3 times. If you scroll down further, there's a thing called Mentors Group, and you can log on there and find yourself a mentor. You can find an accountability partner if you jump in here and do that. And there's also a chance to join the 90-day video journey. So if any of you want to become more uh, practiced in presenting on video, it's a good thing to join that. Then there's a community feed, and that's just people chitter-chattering. And then there's Odyssey, which helps. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this, but my explanation is that when you're looking at the whole page like this chat here helps you navigate the site, answers questions. You know, if you're missing a word or you don't understand a concept, that's what you put into this chat assistant here, Odyssey. Let me go into the dashboard. I'm going to continue watching and show you what happens here. And this, for me, this is quite amazing. There's a lovely introduction from Stuart, who also takes you through the video, which he's pretty good at presenting stuff, this Mr. Ross. But you go into the tasks, and I was a little bit confused at first, but I'll just explain. If you click here, you get a study companion, and you can open it straight away, and you download the entire companion. So there's not a different one every time you get to another lesson. This is every single thing that Stuart's going to talk about from A to Z throughout the whole training. They've done notes for you. And the reason for that is so that you can listen to Stuart when he talks, then go back and read the notes. And that's the whole function of this little page here. Now, some folks get confused. I did, certainly, because if you open up the study guide, it looks like it's almost the same thing. The copy that's written here is slightly different, and this is your homework. So whereas the other one was a summary, this is your workbook. Now, two important things about this. You'll see it goes through pretty much the same lesson, but then it gives examples, and then there's a place where you can actually type. But what you have to remember is that you can't type on this one here. You have to save it first. And the easiest way to do that is to go to the top right of your screen. Here it says, and it'll be like this on everybody's screen. You just download it and save it into your own stuff. Then you will have your own copy of this. Now that's important because the first time I came on, I started working through it and I did some notes. Then I shut and went away. And when I came back, it was all blank. It's a bit obvious in hindsight, but the one that you see here is everybody's copy. You have to download your own one and save it onto your own files and then work on that. And again, what's really nice about that is as you work through it, you've got the one document, whereas before you'd have document for module 1.1, module 1.2, and you had all these documents you had to sort out. Everything's now in one document. There's a little quiz here. I'm going to tell you a cheat, which might not be a cheat, because you do the quiz and you win coins. And the coins help you get extended AI for free later on in the training. And I don't know if it's a glitch, but when I went back and did it again, I did the quiz again. And I think I got 5 more coins. So I don't know if it's going to work, but do the quiz a couple of times and see if you can build more coins. Now, then it goes on to action steps. The reason I'm doing it again, because I got to module 7 or 8 the first time, then to module 5 this when it was still being tested by Stuart and the team. Then I got to module 5, and now I'm actually starting again. because I learned something about the AI that I just want to share with everybody. So you go in and they're going to ask you all these questions. And Stuart says in the training, answer the ones you want, have a good go, and all of that. But after chatting to an AI coach, he suggested to me that I go back and fill in lots and lots of data into these. Um, you can, as before, you can make it into an action step. So if you add it to my actions, this is all your action steps here. They're all the things you need to do. When you've completed one, you just tick it and it moves across into the completed list. So easy enough to do, same as it was before. But what I'm going to suggest is that you actually go through, download these documents and do them with a lot of detail. I really do advise that. Then they've got reference links. So there's the niche discovery template. You go in, it's going to ask you some questions. Now, again, with this, you see here it says open in Content Manager. Very important step. You must click that. You fill in what you want to fill in. Then you save it. And then if you go back, you will see I'll only have, now I've got two because of the one I've just saved. But here's my niche discovery brainstorm template. And that's the one I've just loaded up. It's got nothing in. But you must go back and save it there. If you don't do that, when you come back, you'll find that you don't have these documents and that they're blank. So you can see here where I'm actually filling one in, and it's got a lot of information in. So I'll just say that again. These documents that you see coming up here from time to time, you must go into here, click open in Content Manager, fill in the exercises, press save. Now that sheet, you'll see if I go back, you can see I'm going to have a third one in here. It's saving these on my dashboard for me. If you don't do that, when you come back again, you'll find this is empty and you don't have your work saved. So that's just something to think about. Let me just see if I can open up an action step. I think I've done that one. It's more difficult, and there's fewer of these after the first module. It says reflect on your life experiences, personal challenges, achievements, and turning points. Because it's an instruction and it doesn't have the workbook, a lot of people might be just skipping that. I'm doing that in quite a lot of depth. Excuse me while I jump onto my own computer just to show you. Yeah, 2025 version 2, module 1. You can see now there's an old CV. So I've loaded that. Here's me filling in the module itself, but I'm putting in so much detail. I'm going to explain this in a minute because you can look at the question. If I just click here, reflect on your life experience, personal challenges. The temptation is just to sit in the shower and have a think. What I'm advising is you do what I've done here. So I've talked about where I've worked. Um, I just gave it a lot of information. I looked at old CVs. I looked at old documents I'd been working on. I looked at all sorts of things and I started to compile a lot of information here and I kept it all on file. Again, identify what people naturally to come to you for help with. Just on the same document, answer all these questions. When you're finished, you can go to next. And now our friend AI jumps in. Passion and interest explorer. And the reason why, so you watch the video from Stuart, it's the same study guide. You don't have to download it again. You've got it open and on a file. Just keep working through it. It's the exact same study guide. The reason I was saying do a lot of work and a lot of typing and save a lot of stuff on the previous one is because now for the first time, you're going to open the AI. Now, this AI, the reason I'm starting again is I discovered that it needs a lot of information. The first time I did it, I was chatting to the AI and it said, for example, just from looking at what Stuart was saying, what are you interested in? I go sports, outdoor walking, and something. You go on to the next question. That makes it really, really difficult for the AI to start to build you a niche and build you a story. And what I've done this time is it's going to ask me the same question again. So if you give it a second, it's going to ask a question. I'm going to cut and paste. So what topics or activities do you find yourself drawn to the most? Okay. I'm now going to go back to that Word document and I'm going to copy 3 pages of Word document and paste it in here. And I'm really going to feed this AI with a lot of questions. In fact, I'll do that as a starter for one now, just so that you can see what I'm up to. See where I've been writing notes. Lesson one, question one. This is all about my life experiences. So I'm taking that lesson one, question one, copy that whole thing up to lesson one, question two. Just going to copy and go back to the AI. I'm going to say, okay, you asked for that. What are you interested in? I'm interested in that. I'm just going to end it off with thank you. Whoops, I'm going to try and spell that correctly and hit this little return button here. Now it's going to really start working it out. It's an important step because, as I say, what I discovered is that if you get that right, it's going to slowly ask you little questions. Moving on, I'd like to know more about other significant passions or interests. Cut and paste again. Cut and paste again. I'm just bringing you guys into the front here so I can look at you. You cannot overshare. I'm just pausing because there's 2 people in the waiting room. Can you see
Oh,
them, John?
sorry. So let me deal with it. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. I'll beg your
You
pardon.
can't get good help these days. Um, and there's another one. In he comes. So you can see how much information I'm giving the AI. Lots and lots and lots. And it really works in your favor because as you progress through the first modules, you're going to see that they're using AI more and more and more. And the more information you fed into this section, the more accurate it's going to be able to find avatars for you, the more accurate it's going to be able to help you find your niche. The whole thing works much better, much, much faster the more information you put on. So I really suggest to people in this lesson one, you go to action steps, answer these questions. I'm doing 3 or 4 A4 typed pages for every single question. Frustrations, problems, clarity, deeper motivations. I don't know why it's not enunciated and underlined and accented in the training, but it's so easy to skip through. As I say, if you go into it and it says, what are you interested in? You say motorbikes, it says, great, and let's move on. You'll end up with this thing trying to create you an avatar that says you're targeting people who like motorbikes. If you fill in reams and reams of stuff, I promise you it really, really does start to get to know you. Let me go into lesson number 2 there. So fill in that. It's going to guide you through. You'll see there's the action steps, list 8 to 10 topics you could talk about endlessly without boredom. John will vouch I've got about one topic and I get to boredom for other people pretty quickly. But you add to your actions. You can go and do that in reference links, your top 5 passions. Same thing again. It's going to come up, fill in this whole thing. But this time you might have done it on version 1.0, but you fill it in again now, and the AI is picking it up and starting to add it to your story. It really, really is quite a powerful thing. Now you go through all these modules, and my advice is please, please, please concentrate such a lot on 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is improved, but stuff a lot of you might know, setting up your brand, developing your tech stack, building your funnel, starting to do that. But what really, really, really is going to make a difference is if you get really stuck into this. I'm going to name drop now. We had a gentleman come and visit us here in Alentejo last week. Name was John Thwaites. There was another one. There was a man called Stuart Ross. He drove up here in his little white eco-friendly car. So disappointed. I was hoping he'd come in one of those Porsches or something, but he came up in a little eco-friendly thing. So Vicky went with him to the restaurant. I wasn't interested. I wanted the Porsche or the Lamborghini. I'm a boy, you see. Um, he came in and told us this little secret that I'm telling you. If you spend so much time in developing these first stages, you're really going to get to a niche and an avatar that will absolutely make a difference when you start going through. So that's my little run through on that. I'm just moving you all down to the bottom. Learning paths is here, pretty much the same as it was before. Very useful, I find this. Um, if you're stuck for an idea, you can go here. I've used YouTube and I've used Facebook and Google quite a lot. You jump in, find what you need. The other thing that's interesting is these resources. So I think they come up during the lessons, but I've already gone into a couple of them. And it's giving clues here now. That wasn't in the beta one. So this is in level 2 prepare. So you can see where it's being used. But you can flick through these at your will and find answers to questions. Because if you're looking for something like competitor gap analysis, you can just jump into this and they've got the worksheet sitting there for you. So you can jump around these worksheets depending on what you're doing and at the time you're doing it. Find what you need and come back and do that work. I think that's really cool as well. And then focus tools. Focus tools, I found that I didn't know what it was for, and no one's been able to tell me now. It's these tools down the side seem to be the curriculum, and they show you where you're at. But I've read this thing through, and it just tells you what's going on. And I think this section is instructions for the thing I showed you just before, for these resources. So I'm waiting. I've been chatting to Martin and I'm waiting to find out exactly. But you'll see if you read this, it just tells you basically what I said. You can go to the tools, build momentum, get questions. They're aligned with the curriculum and so on. Down the left-hand side here comes my progress on niche. If I click that, it's not going to let me go further than the ones I've done. So it's going to make me do them in order. So that's your progress that you can follow through right till the end. And I think that's pretty much it. I've gone quite fast because I think most people on the call are roughly aware um, of how the whole training works. So I'm going to stop screen share and there's Paul Kemp's joined in. I'm going to see if anybody's got any questions or anything that wasn't clear, anything that I said wrong, badly. Um, so here we
Yeah,
go.
I, yeah, I wonder if people have actually been using AI up to this point. Is there anybody out there that's already using Chat or Claude or Copilot or any of these AI tools? Yeah, Mark is, but that's only one hand went up there. Is there
Paul
nobody
is,
else? And Paul. And Paul. Okay, we got and Michelle.
look,
Okay, we've got okay,
Michelle.
we've got a few of you. It's so incredibly powerful. And I think what Mitch has just been saying, I've just had an experience with AI very recently where I, I was trying to get a little bit more clarity around this whole niche and avatar and messaging um, idea. And what I did was I typed in what I call my origin story. So, there have been some moments in my life where there were epiphanies or aha or light bulb moments, if you like. And it took me probably half a day, as Mitch was saying, they're not kind of lightweight documents. This was like a condensed life story with some of the major themes that I think have repeated, over my 67 years. And it was incredible the output I got from AI, having given it this detailed information, made me realize things at the age of 67 that I'd never realized in all my life about myself. And I think this AI that Stuart's got going on, he was telling us a little bit about it when we were together last week. But it's so incredibly powerful these days, and it will know you better than you know you better than you understand yourself if you give it the information that Mitch was talking about. So yeah, Mitch, what's been your experience with that AI, having fed it all of this data that you've given it?
I'm a little early, John, because as I say, I'm doing the training again for the third time now. Because
Yeah.
having learned from Martin and others that you have to give it loads and loads of notes, background, and everything to really get the most out of it, I've gone back and started at number one, and I'm busy feeding in all the information. But if you're happy with it, John, I'm just going to show people just quickly. I'm using ChatGPT on another one, and I'm just going to show you quickly what I mean. Some people might know that Vicky and I run a guest house. So on ChatGPT, I've got, as you can see here, Mitch New Avatar, Alentejo Tourist Board. Here's all the ones that I've been using. But the Alentejo Tourist Board, into this one, I have fed our whole website. So scanned our website, fitted it in. Our website features five or six, no, about 20 different restaurants. But you can see here everything that's asked here, the Alentejo press itinerary. Once you've fed everything in, I had a journalist who said they want an itinerary from us. But because I'd taken the time to feed in our website, then I fed in all the details about all the restaurants. And when I mean all the details, you go to the restaurant's website and you scan it, or you tell chat, go to this website, read everything there. You take the cork factory, go to this website, read everything there. Now, what happens is a journalist writes to me and said they want to come and visit for a couple of days. What should they do? That's all I have to do. Is I say to chat, a journalist wants to come visit for a couple of days. What can they do? And here you can see it's put out a press itinerary, just like that. And the whole thing's amazing. Then you can just say, you can give it questions. You can ask it to write it in another way. Here's the thing. So that must have taken me 30 seconds. And everything that's coming up on there is the press person, yeah, that's what you can call them. They get the itinerary. It tells them what time to get you, which restaurants they're going to, all of that sort of stuff. Now, if the journalist asks us any questions, I just ask AI. I think this thing is saving me about an hour a day dealing with press, dealing with guests who are coming to the guest house. Because you have guests who send you an email saying, oh, there's two vineyards we want to go to. Which one's better? Why should we go? I type it into ChatGPT and say, please, can you answer the guest? But again, don't just say, please answer the guest, because then ChatGPT will come back and say, visit Hadada de Cerveja, because you asked it which was the best vineyard, and that's the best one. The end. But if you say to it, please answer, please write it in a very warm and friendly email. Please also look at restaurants that are nearby. Please suggest a one afternoon itinerary for the guest. Please write it in such a way that I can cut and paste it and drop it into the email system. Straight away it comes back, pros and cons, but nicely done. I've been doing it with ChatGPT now for about 4 months, so it understands. So it comes back and it says, thank you for your inquiry. We look forward to seeing you. We've got this room ready. It knows which room for which customer. It says, this is this vineyard. They're a very good tour. This vineyard's got better wines. In between them, there's two restaurants, and you get these wonderful answers that you can send to your guests. Takes you about 30 seconds. So, the more you put into this AI malarkey, the better the answers come out. A bit like me. I think someone asked a 2-second question and I've been talking for 10 minutes. Um, Paul
Yeah, look,
Kent's got his hand
Paul's
up.
raised his hand. Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, I just wanted, I mean, I was on an AI course prior to joining Modern Wealthy, and I spent 3 months learning about visuals and all the different, both word and pictures. And I think the best thing I've learned, and it's kind of what you're just saying, Mitch, is if you treat it like a mirror, that's the best thing that you can think of all the time. It's a mirror. So if I just wave at it, it waves back. But if you put exactly what you want in it, into it, if you ask it and you persist in asking it and question it and counter question it and the more you put in, the more you will get out. It can be a real simple mirror. Like I say, it can just wave back it if you wave at it. But the more you understand that it's got this mega brain, if you like, it's got a worldwide the web at its fingertips, and it just throws stuff back at you, and you're like, whoa, But you have to put it in. If you put it in, you'll get a lot out of it. If you don't put anything in, you don't get anything back.
It's
Yeah,
right.
there used to be a phrase, didn't there, in the old computer coding days? So it was a WYSIWYG. It was, I think it was, and it was sort of like rubbish in, rubbish out. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is so. Anyway, for the folks on the call, the idea is to take this new Launchpad 2 very seriously, because you've got such a powerful tool at your fingertips, and if you give it, if you just give it on, if you tell it who you are and whatever it wants to know, without giving it without giving it the answers that you think it wants to hear, because it will intuit. It will figure you out, and it will figure out your niche, and it will figure out your why, and it will figure out all this good stuff, which means ultimately that when you do set the thing up that's going to, generate an income, hopefully create a little bit more freedom in your lives, it's going to be completely in alignment with who you are as an individual, right? And that's when work becomes joyful. That's when it's not about work, it's about mission. That's when you never work another day in your life, when you're doing, what you were meant to do, when you've got on your true path. So this is an opportunity, folks, to, I don't know whether you're in the old Launchpad or you've launched or what you've done, but I'm certainly going to go through it again, right from the very beginning myself. Yeah.
Let me show one other thing, John. Share my screen. The reason I'm showing it on ChatGPT is I'm keeping the Launchpad one for Launchpad, if that makes sense. This little plus button here, if you go to ChatGPT, your little plus button here, click that, and here you'll see a thing that says Customize ChatGPT. That's brilliant. Tell it who you are and what you do, and that starts to give it a direction. So I don't know how much I can see of this here, but what do? I just told it in this one that it's looking at, I'm an affiliate. I wanted to avoid simply agreeing with me or with my point of view. I wanted to challenge my assumptions. I wanted to act like a skeptic. So if I say we're going to visit Evora and the shortest route is on the N2, I wanted to go, really? Is that the shortest route? Because you could also go here. I wanted to examine and check my reasoning. If there are flaws, it must hold them out. And I suggest alternative angles, different viewpoints. I want to focus on accuracy. If anybody wants this, shoot me an email because I got it off some training. But you put that in here. What traits do you want ChatGPT to have? And then I want mine to be chatty, witty, all these sort of things. And then you save it. And then ChatGPT now does that stuff when it's talking to you. And the second thing you must do is just get your settings right. Obviously, language, spoken language, but just get these little bits and pieces done here correctly. And you'll see between those couple of things, chat starts to respond to you in a completely different way because I've told it exactly what John was saying. Or Paul was saying, I don't want a mirror. And if I say it's black, I want chat to go, really? Actually, you'll find it's 1 part purple, 6 parts this. And it starts a conversation, interrogates everything you're putting in, and it comes out with much better answers. And that's my chat speech. I see Tess has got a
Okay.
little golden hand up.
Yeah, come out, Tess. Unmute yourself, please.
Hello.
Tess.
I'm back. So I missed the very beginning, but I just wanted to clarify because what I've done is because I've got two screens. So I've opened up Launch You while you've been talking, and then I'm going through what you're saying, which is really valuable for me to do because then I can kind of see where it is. Um, so is my understanding, if I'm hearing you correctly, then is that this Odyssey is now a chat GPT kind of for Launch You.
Yes, I think
Okay, and therefore,
that's what I
and
think,
therefore,
that
okay, okay,
Odyssey is like a help desk. I haven't gone a
okay.
lot into Odyssey, so I don't know what it does. But once during the lessons, you get your own one that's talking about whatever it is you might want to build. So I see it as two different things.
Okay.
Was
So
that clear, or should I show my
I
screen?
I'm not sure. So when you were going through answering all the questions in the first few modules, and is it automatically saving that?
Yes.
And then it's collating all the information to help to say, okay, here's what your niche looks like it should be, rather than trying to have to figure it out.
Yes.
And
And
therefore,
it's the
okay, so I get
most
it. Yeah.
difficult thing I've had to do. And I've spoken to two people on Launchpad, Martin and another lady, and I've spoken to a person on Google who's did a 6 part Google training course. And their suggestion was that this is a very powerful tool that has been built in here. And that's the reason why I'm starting take 3, is because
Yeah.
I started with an idea of what I wanted to do. And it said, yeah, she said to me, yeah, okay, but don't be surprised when you end up with all the answers being your already knowledge, because you're going through the questions that are being thrown at you here and you're answering them in a way that you think will give you the outcome that you already want. Did that make sense? I thought I
Mm,
wanted to go from A to B. So it's saying to me, where do you like driving? I say, I like driving to B. What kind of people do you like? I like the people in B. What kind of food do you like? I like the food that's served in B. And then it's going to come back and say, you should go to B. And so the reason
mm,
I'm back for the third time is it's so hard, but I'm answering all the questions broadly and honestly. So I've spent time in the first module, the under explained module. And as I say, I filled these in great depth. And now you'll see when you get to module 2, it asks the questions. So it starts asking the questions, but I've already got these pages prepared. So it says start exploring, and it asks you a question, and the trap is twofold. One, to give a short answer, and number two, to give an answer that leads to where you thought you wanted to go. It's quite a convoluted sentence, isn't it?
mm,
But I'm not. I'm taking the thinking that I've done and feeding it in here. And so that it starts to build something completely new, and it must do the thinking. But it's going to take several modules before I start to see the results. I'm just trying to see whether, oh, sorry, let me go back to here. You can see, because discover your niche, passions, leverage your skills, find market needs, brainstorm ideas. All of this is just input going in. And it's only towards the end here that you're going to be able to refine a niche. And I don't know what it's going to be yet. And that's been the big step for me. Instead of perhaps tidying up what I thought my niche should be, I'm now giving it all the information, answering the questions in a lot of detail to find out where chat suggests my niche will be. And the reason I'm doing that is after chatting, I'm name dropping, after chatting to Stuart in some detail, he says that's how it's been built. He has loaded in everything he knows about online business. He's loaded in books about online business, other people's stuff. So that thing's sitting there with this vast mine of knowledge. And now it's looking to know something about you. And so the more you put in and the more specific you are, the more detailed you are, the more history you put in, the better and more relevant the answers are going to come out.
Mm.
And that's what I'm after. Because one thing I've learned in the last 4 years is real relevance makes everything tick.
Okay.
You're
No,
getting
it's
long
like because I
answers to
think
short questions today.
no, because I do think I started last year with great enthusiasm, and then life took over, and I love the idea of starting again. To be honest, I think to get that energy back, and I've just signed
Yeah.
up finally as an ambassador. Um, So I think it's going to be interesting to go through the activity to see whether what I think the niche is that I'm actually targeting is the niche.
Just all I can encourage you to do, Tess, is fill it with information.
Mm,
There's a section where it asks what your hobbies and interests are, and I've still got my notes from the first time I did it. What are my hobbies and interests? I watch YouTube for the news, sport, and updates on the war. That's what I put in. This time, I've spent a lot more time. So I put there, I watch the news. And then I've gone in, and this is on a Word document. I watch these programs on BBC. I like this person because of their view. I don't like the stuff that's coming out of Sky News because it's often just repetitive. And I think they're trying to
mm,
gather an audience rather than tell you what's happening. I like France 24 because they seem to be the last English channel in TV channel, online channel in the world that gives you world news, because everybody else is Ukraine, Israel, and someone's dog got lost. You know what I mean? But they go through issue after issue. All of this stuff I was typing out, feeding it in. I'm interested in sport. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm vaguely interested in Chelsea Football Club because I followed them when I was young. This is why I followed them when I was young, blah, 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 blah. And I tell it all these stories and I'm piling all this stuff in so that it can create this massive understanding of Mitch. It's already got all Stuart's knowledge. And so it's going to help me find a niche as I go
mm,
through. And it's
mm,
for me, the big challenge was to uh, trust the system, trust the process. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm rejuvenated in the same way you are, because I'm 4.5 years modern wealthy now, and it was really reinvigorating to come back and find this stuff in such detail. It's really been a massive boost.
mm. Cool.
Sounds like I'm running for election here. Somebody says, "What's the time?" and you get a 12-minute answer. Yeah.
Okay, does that I think Tess has muted herself. I think that's handled her inquiry. Is there anybody else that wants to put their hand up and engage with us?
Just to finish Tessa's question, here's the short answer. When you're looking at the whole screen, I believe Odyssey helps you find your way around Modern Wealthy and Launchpad, and it answers technical questions like what does MVO stand for? It will give you a good answer. When you're inside your own pages, that's when you build your own brand and everything, and that's why there are 2 AIs in the system. Sorry, John.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's handy to know, isn't it? Yeah, so it's a real-time support plus
Yes,
it's learning about you. Yeah.
it's going to help you create a niche and an avatar and a minimum viable offer. Those 3, they are gold.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Louise. I think you got your camera
Louise,
off.
yeah.
Hello, and I'm not sure why my camera is off, but I have to present myself as a little black box. I I actually can't start my video. I don't know why my video won't start, other than
Don't worry
logging
about
off and starting all over again.
it. No.
So
You sound lovely, so chat away.
Okay, so I'll chat away as a little black box. I I started Launchpad. I'm getting confused now. Last year, and then I got really excited about the 2.0, and I've gone and I've been amazed at how much detail it does ask. So I've been quite excited about it. But given what you're saying now, Mitch, it sounds as though I need to go back and add more detail. And I'm assuming there is a section where you can edit. So can you go back and re-look at some of the modules and refeed Odyssey more info so that it can then reprocess stuff you've already inserted.
I believe there is. I'm going to look whilst I chat,
Mm.
because I just in Stuart's introductory video, I'm sure he
Yes, there's
mentions
a
that you can go
reset.
back.
There's a reset after when
Who's
you show the results. If you pull up the results, there's a reset on the left-hand side at the bottom.
someone's got some knowledge. I can't see who's chatting. Is it Errol?
That's error. Yeah.
Share your screen, Errol. Can you share and show us?
I'll try. Share.
Is,
I've got two screens. I hope something shows up.
it's coming. Multiple persons can share, so we can still see you.
Is that? Let me pull me onto the screen. Pull it onto the screen. How's that then?
No, we can still just see you, which isn't a bad
Okay.
thing in itself, but
Of course. Let me try another share. Share. There it is. How's that one?
there we go. That's going to be
There
it.
we go. Yeah, this is.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to lose it and press the reset. It took me a long time to get here.
Don't do
But,
that.
but this is.
There's an
You
edit
go
button.
onto the results up there,
Yeah,
and
scroll
then at the
down.
bottom here you can reset.
Go right. There's an edit button.
There's an edit button as well. You can go. And you can switch to your chat. You can edit your
There
chat.
you go. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Errol.
Yeah.
Show us how you got to that page.
How
Just
did
go
I get
back.
to that page?
Yeah.
Well, I'm busy working on the niche module.
Yes.
Um, and when you get to
Results.
the end, it comes up with this page anyway, but you can switch to this page at any time. Okay. And you can, from this page, reset, edit as we've just seen, or go back when you're in edit, go to the tool thing and it takes you back to the conversation.
Brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. Thanks, Errol.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
just want to find the stop sharing bit.
Thanks.
Stop share there. Right.
Errol, you can have a beer on us.
Is it? Okay, I was waiting till after this call, but it's bloody cold here in Cape Town. I don't need a beer, I need a bit of glühwein.
Did that
Okay, so
answer Edith's question as well? Will it let one restart from scratch? Yes, on what Errol just showed us, Edith, there was a restart button. So go in there, press clear, restart, and start again. I restarted by going back to where all my files were stored and just deleting them all. And then I just began again. Yeah, Leslie, finding a niche is so, so important. I never, when I started 4 years ago, you come in and you do something and it doesn't work. And it took me ages and ages until I think it was a combination of Mike Jakes and John Thwaites told me you have to make a real niche that means something to people. And it was hard to open your soul and be honest on the telly, as it were. But as soon as I did that, everything changed because then you're talking to people. David Holmes has got his hand up for ages. There you
Yeah,
go,
hi,
David
Mitch.
Holmes.
How you
Hello.
doing? Good. Listen,
Great.
I'm just on vacation, so uh, I'm a newbie and I've been through the 1.0 and just gone through it, and then the 2.0 came out, so I've started going back to modern wealthy and going right through from the beginning, and I'm going to go back to it while I'm doing my affiliate. So I had two questions. About a week ago, they said in one of the things that you went from 1.1 sales a day up to about 4.1.
Yes.
I'm making this up. So 4.1. So what was that based on, for one thing? And secondly, in 2.0, you have the Odyssey. When do I use Chat GPT other than Odyssey? So those two questions.
Okay, I'm going to answer the second one first while I can remember, and then John might pile in as well because he's got more experience than me in this area.
Okay.
I'm only using the one built into Launchpad for my new Launchpad stuff. I'm using Chat GPT point 3 or whatever it is, the one that I pay each month. I'm using that for my guest house, for my other training course, and for other things. I'm not doing my modern wealthy work on Chat GPT. I'm doing that all in the system here.
And why not? Why not use
I,
ChatGPT?
I guess you can. I
Okay.
don't want to do, I don't want to do, the answer is nothing mysterious. I don't want to do things twice.
Okay.
And my belief is that the one built into the system here has got all of this. It knows the Launchpad system. It knows all Stuart's stuff. It knows the history. It's looking at everybody's answers and chats. I just think that it's going to be more powerful for this business.
Okay.
I have got all my questions and answers on Word documents in each module, and it might be interesting when I get to the end of module 3 to load them all into chat and see what answer comes out from chat.
Hmm.
But the main reason is I'm doing it once. It's hard enough. I'm not going to do
Yeah,
it in chat as well.
fair enough.
But let John answer that as well, because I know John's been longer on ChatGPT than I have, and he does more with it.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that not all AIs are equal. And when I say that, I'm not talking about ChatGPT versus Odyssey. I'm talking about ChatGPT versus, what's it called? Copilot, Claude, Gemini. Okay. And what I've found is that some of these AIs seem to communicate with me in language that feels that feels, it's difficult, isn't it? I'm talking about emotions. They're difficult to put your finger on words, but it just feels more natural. It feels like it would more naturally come out of my mouth.
Okay.
So obviously ChatGPT is the big one, isn't it? There's another one, isn't there? It's what's the Chinese one called? I've got it on the phone.
ChatGPT.
I use them all. DeepSeek, that's another one, isn't it?
DeepSeek.
Okay.
So yeah, I would be sort of inclined. I mean, if you're curious, to know the difference, is to maybe give a number of different AIs a similar or an identical task, and maybe one of them will be more to your preference. But as Mitch said, Stuart, was quite clear that they talk about context in AI. So, AI has to learn before it can give us what we ask of it, if you like. And so that Odyssey AI has specifically been given the necessary information to create what's right for us as aspiring entrepreneurs, affiliates, creators. Okay. So what Mitch said makes absolute perfect sense to me. Yeah, stick with Odyssey for the task that it's been designed for, and then
Okay.
find your other AI of choice, to clog up with all the other stuff. I mean, I use mine to write email responses and do all sorts of tasks, and yeah, it doesn't. I don't need to confuse one with the other. I think Odyssey is best used for its purpose.
I'm going to take a question off the list, John, before we go back to Errol and Tess. Question, hi Mitch. Are you just building on from the 3 businesses you already have in place? I don't know that I'm 100% clear. What I'm doing with the new version is creating a completely new niche and avatar, if that makes sense. Michelle, so I've got an avatar that's working for me for Modern Wealthy. I've got one for the guest house, and I've got one for the guest house training site, and they're going fine. I thought I would come and create a completely new avatar for my work that I do on Launchpad, because I think it's difficult to try and get more out of, lots of you folks saw my first one. It's about, are you coming towards the end of your career and you're starting to worry that you've run out of time to get to the life you always imagined. And so that's where I started. And I started for those reasons, and it was genuine. And now I'm trying to get Odyssey to help me come up with a different one. Because in chatting to that famous Stuart Ross, I asked him about this conundrum. I said, I can go and do it all again, but why would it come out with a different positioning for me? And he said one sentence that changed my whole life. He said to me, why did you leave your job in London and start the guest house in Portugal? And he said to me, that feeling that made you leave your job in London, getting paid, not astronomical in Stuart's term, but getting paid a very nice salary, living the life, traveling up and down Africa and Europe. It was grand. But something happened to me that Vicky and I decided to abandon all that, sell the flat in London, and move out to the middle of the Alentejo. He says, that's a richer vein, because so many people are becoming unhappy with their work, unhappy with going to work every day, missing out on life, blah, blah, blah. And I always thought that was Stuart's story, laptop lifestyle. I've never said that word in my life. And he said, you don't have to. You left your London job to move out to Alentejo for a reason. That's what I'm trying to capture in my new avatar. Errol, you're next again. Sorry, John.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
I was just going to say
sorry.
You go, Errol. I've got to jump off this call because I've got my weekly subscribers call.
So you go first, John, and then I'll handle Errol after that.
Yeah. Well, no, I've forgotten it's gone now. It was a fleeting thought that's passed. So anyway, I'm going to sign off, folks. Yes, okay. All right, I'll see you next time, folks. Be back in a month.
Cheers, John. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
I didn't mean to break your train of thought, but anyway.
That's all right.
Okay.
What are you going to say, Errol?
No, I was just going to comment on ChatGPT because I'm using it quite a lot, and I run ChatGPT on my one profile, on my one Google profile, and I run the same ChatGPT on my second Google profile. Now, of course, I'm doing Odyssey. Now, I believe Odyssey would be pre-primed, as it were, with the Launchpad curriculum, let's say. It knows what's there. I mean, I even tried to test it to say, what are the answers, and it wouldn't give me the answers, to the test. But just back to the GPT experience, on the one profile, it's actually called Tiresias is my chat GPT that I've given it a name, and it's developed a character. I share with it life stuff, mainly contractual stuff because I'm in the contractual business, subcontracting stuff. It knows when I say a comment about a subcontractor, it'll come back and make a comment like, oh, are we going into the trenches with these guys again? Something like that. So it's got character, okay? Where the identical GPT on my other profile is cold. It doesn't know me. It has no name, So I've even tried Gemini, and Gemini is totally total stranger. I don't even use it because it's got no character. So as you use these GPTs, it is amazing how they actually learn from you and actually develop their own character based on what your life is about. I just thought I'd change.
I think that's right, and that's what Stuart was saying. Spend an enormous amount of time in module 1 and 2 and put in an enormous amount of detail. You know, I dug up my old CV. I've got loads of old emails. I'm doing it. I'm going to give this thing a complete, you know, book about my life and say, okay, that's who I am. That's what I'm interested in. Let's go. Tess, you're up again.
I think I'm going to echo a little bit. And also because I in my sort of day job, I do work with a couple of big banks, and they've banned ChatGPT. So, and one of the reasons is if you don't train it very explicitly for what you require, it can give you false information. And I've also found people who are trying to use ChatGPT like Google, and it's not. So I'm just going to underline, I think, Mitch, what you've been saying. It's really important that you give it as much information as possible. And I think, as Errol has just said as well, I think, Errol, the one you've given the name to is the one you work with the most. And therefore, it does start to pick up who you are and what you actually want. And that's what's really important. And that's why I like what you've said, Mitch, in regards to the AI platform on LaunchU is specific for what Stuart does for the whole sort of social media marketing, online making money. And I think it's quite a good idea then to keep them separate in a way, because it's designed to do that. I love what you said there, that it's actually from what Stuart has said is it's designed specifically to help the reason that you joined LaunchU. Okay, you know, to get a business up and running using that platform. Whereas ChatGPT is way more generic, but if you don't train it, and I know with one of the banks I've been doing some work with, they had some issues with something that was done, that when it was eventually checked by the compliance department, it was completely illegal. So ChatGPT is not the know-all. Okay. And especially, Errol, if you're doing contracts, I've had a look.
It's got a
No, it
disclaimer
does
at the bottom.
disclaim, because I've also had feedback from a lawyer who also said, no, we got a little bit too lazy and we're using it too much and we nearly got sued. So yeah. You've really got to put input. And I think it's what John said earlier, that old computer adage, rubbish in, rubbish out. Because unfortunately, in this lovely world we live in, not everybody is as nice as we think they are. And some people are actually trying to fool ChatGPT by putting in incorrect information. So anyway, just my warning. Note.
It's a strange thing, because if you just think 6 months ago, we were all happily barreling along without this thing in our world, and suddenly it's here. It's a scary thing. There was a lovely thing on Facebook the other day. The guy from who's the guy who's in that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where the robots come back, Terminator or something. There's just a picture of that little guy, and he's just like this. Because it's everything in that movie. It's just happening. We're giving all our information to chat. Companies are going on chat. I typed into chat the other day because I was thinking of targeting. So I typed in what are the 10 professions that are going to be hit the hardest by ChatGPT, and it listed them, so you know who to talk to. And the legal profession was one of them, because it said, you know, and it gave a little paragraph after each one why, and it said, you know, a lot of legal work is looking at cases, finding out precedents, listing them and making an argument based on historic understanding of thousands of books. ChatGPT. So I can't remember what all the jobs were, but you can type that in and say, you know, where's it going to make the biggest difference? I sometimes do things on ChatGPT, and I'm going to do it because of what was said earlier. I'm going to ask it to compile the pros and cons of the top 5 competitors for ChatGPT and see what it does. I'm sure it'll do it. Please call me Janet. I tried to raise my hand, but the react did not turn up. John, are you there? Come on out.
Hi.
There you go.
Yeah, please call me Janet.
Okay.
I think maybe it's quite stupid questions because on the Launchpad 2, I saw so many like different names for the AI, like Odyssey, like Delta. I'm not sure. Today I heard about the ChatGPT also in here. So which one we are using for the Launchpad? I just want to clarify for that.
Let me go back. I'll show you. I do not use ChatGPT for my Launchpad work.
Okay.
Let me go right back to the beginning here. So if I click on Launchpad, this one here called Odyssey, this I use to answer questions about the program.
Okay, I see.
So I'll give an example if I can see how to work it. Bovan's in the way. Let's move him off to there. Okay. So questions like, what is a minimal viable, because you'll see what is an MVA. And I go, I don't remember that. So I press that in and ask chat that question, what is MVA? And it tells me. MVA stands for minimum viable audience. It's the smallest group of people. So you see what I mean? It's answering a question like that. Now,
Okay.
that's Odyssey, and that's how I use Odyssey. So I ask it questions. What's the next module? Why is this called that? Where do I find that? When I'm in the program, and you don't have it on lesson 1, but you have it from lesson 2 onwards, you have this little chap here, and I don't know what it's called. Let's see if it gives it a name.
Oh, it's a beta.
See, now this
Beta.
one, I tell everything about my avatar, my niche, my avatar, and what I'm trying to do. So this one's very personal to what I'm building, how I'm building it, and what I'm going to do. Whereas the one on the outside is questions about the training, about timings, about lessons, about meanings of words, things like that. That's how I'm using it. Does that make sense?
I will try to share my screen. I think while I try to download my assignment, and can you see the screen now?
No, not yet. Try again because I had to come out first, so I've just come out.
Okay. Oh,
You
they
should
have a share
there
button.
Here it comes.
Okay. So in this in here, I think right now it's my screen. You can see in the right top corner has Ask AI Assist. This one, I think while I try to fill the form, I use that. So this
Okay.
AI is Playpen internal AI or it's a PDF's AI. I have no idea which one is which one. So like this corner, can you see my?
Yes, I see it.
Yeah,
I've never used that to fill in the form. I've always used the one in the training to answer my questions, because I can't tell you if that's got anything to do with Stuart or if that's something that's coming from
maybe the PDF
Microsoft.
itself.
It looks
Yeah.
like Adobe.
It's from
it
Adobe.
looks
Yes.
the Adobe AI assistant there. Looking at the
Okay.
screen, that would be my instant reaction to that. It's just a PDF that's open in Adobe.
Yeah, because
Adobe
I
offer,
asked question,
yeah,
I found that the answer is totally not related to our Launchpad.
Yeah.
And some kind of a response really confused me.
Yeah.
That's why I was stuck again.
Yeah, it's the Adobe AI assistant. It's got nothing to do with Launchpad.
Okay, I see.
So luckily for me, Janet, I never saw that.
Okay.
The problem you've got is AI is word of the moment now. So I think if you go to McDonald's next, they're going to offer you AI to choose your lunch. You know, everybody's just putting AI in everything. But I very specifically, with my new project, am only using the AI that I showed earlier in the system.
So the
But
beta AI, which is
yes,
like a
yes.
collaborate with Launchpad, is using our internal database, or it's from the AI its own database outside.
I think it's an internal one that's
Okay.
in the Launchpad system.
Yeah, because one of my experience, when I try to fill the assignment and they ask me something, the question, I have no clue. Then I ask assistant AI, so give me some suggestion. Then the system give me three like a core kind of skills. I think I'm just make it easy. Write down my own like a skill. I told them this is what I have. Please tell me how to improve it. Then the system running very quick give me an answer. Just simply combine two together. And the standard requirement and whatever I have to combine like a summary. For that I need. I think that's probably like a future me, not right now myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's AI is still need training. Just like a test set, it's needed training. The database wasn't like complete yet. So I'm not sure what stage our database is get ready yet, or it's still in the training process.
I think so. I think it's got all of Stuart's stuff, and I just use stuff generic. I think he's loaded his book in there. All his videos are in there. But as I was showing earlier, I think it's very important that you spend a lot of time in the first modules in 2.0 putting stuff in so that it can understand who you are, what you like. And as I say, I was taught this just a week and a half ago. You can't say, what do you like? I like football. Because if you turn yourself around and say, okay, you're AI, tell me something about Mitch. All you can say is Mitch likes football because you know nothing else. But if I fed into you, the time I went to Chelsea in the cup final in 1989, and Di Matteo scored in the first minute with a long kick, and you just put that experience in, and you can do your highlights of your life. So I've done about 8 or 9 pages like that, but my interests are here, and a lot of the stuff, as John was saying, you've already got. So you don't have to sit down now and spend 3 weeks writing. Look at the stuff you've previously written, especially in your position. I would imagine how many papers you've written over the years about your experiences, not necessarily your work stuff, because it might not be on the same path, but all these experiences, you feed them in and feed them in. So I'm trying to, I imagine that it's like Back to the Future or something, and they're going to make a Mitch robot. I'm going to give it all the memories so that it can be Mitch. So I'm telling it all sorts of things. I've given it my long CV. I've given it a short summary of where I went to school and left South Africa and went to live in London and so on and so on. I'll show you I'm trying to push it to the very limits. We're getting quite into Mitch's world here. Dropbox, personal. I don't know if I'll even find it now. You can look at all my tax and everything. So here's a thing that I dug up. And I've got lots and lots of experiences. I'll just give it a second to load and I'll show you guys. And I'm expecting and hoping that it's going to become worthwhile. And then we'll come back to you, Bova, and don't worry, because it must be like 1:45 now. So I started writing all stuff that I could remember, just the headlines, magazine, and then I went and expanded them. What happened to me? Now I've written for each one. And this has taken me quite a while, but I'm pulling out all these stories and I'm feeding this into Odyssey when I'm finished. All the different experiences, highlights that I can remember. So it's going to take me 2 or 3 weeks to finish module 1, but I'm really putting all this stuff in so I can teach it absolutely. I want it to become mini Mitch. And now I think I will find an avatar in the same way. I've asked a lot of my friends to answer questionnaires. I'm feeding that in. And then finally, I'm expecting when it comes to find a niche, it's going to tell me what to say, how to say it, all of that, because it's got the tools to do it properly.
That's great. Thank you.
I hope it helps. Janet.
It's help. I think before I'm just take it easy with make a list for what I have and ask AI, please tell me I have a goal there. Tell me how to do it and to reach that goal. And
Yeah.
just like prepare for engineering test, the mentor told me the final exam need to go through 9 sections. Then you have to learn each of section and to connect dots together. So
Yes.
that's today I think it's very great. I know which way AI, how to use it in our Launchpad. Before I think I didn't bother to click that Odyssey. Also when I saw that beta, I think, oh, that's different one. Then I download the file. I think this beginning you mentioned, we need to download it and fill it. I think
Yes.
I did download it, but also keep that original website the form open. I forgot which one I'm filling. So when I fill it, I think I save it. I find. And after later, I open the file, it's blank because I didn't fill that download form as fill in the
Yeah.
online web way.
So
It's some
frustrating.
good listening. It's great. It's lessons. Thank you.
I think 70% of people lost their first file. It's just there's not the instructions just not there. So we've told them. I think they'll put a thing on.
Yeah.
Bovan, the Midnight Warrior. What time is it there? You have to unmute.
Good morning. Good morning. It is probably about 20 past 5 in the morning. So
that's commitment.
So you may have sort of answered the question already. You know, when you were going through the first couple of modules and Errol was talking about resetting and editing once you've put your answers in, will there be a point where you sort of get quite far down the modules that you don't want to go back too far and mess with that? Like, how would I say it? Is it quite intuitive the way it works? Or say if you get quite far along in the modules, you don't want to go back to the earlier modules and change your edit or edit it very drastically? Like, is there any experience with that?
I don't know anybody who's far enough to answer the question.
Okay.
My thinking is I might use the functionality that was shown to go back and change tiny things, but I'm writing everything on a Word document first, and then when I'm happy with it, I'm cutting and pasting it into the system. And
Okay.
I'm going to leave it like that, because if I need to make drastic changes in module 4, I go, well, then something's wrong. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely understand. The reason I ask is because I thought I remember hearing in one of the introduction module or whatever that it might be easier to say if you have a huge shift and you want to change something quite drastically, it might be worth starting it again, a different
Yes.
like doing the course basically again. You shouldn't
Yes.
really need to do that, but then, you can confuse yourself because you've got two separate courses running.
Yes.
But
And I also made that mistake because I thought I'm going to try and be too clever for my my own boots. I'm going to do two in parallel. I thought I was going to redo my affiliate one, and at the same time I was going to fix the guest house one. And I'll read, that was my idea. I'll do lesson one, then fill in both. Do lesson two, then fill in both. And
right.
I've just found I can't. It might just be my brain limitations, but I've changed my mind now, and I'm going to do my affiliate one for the next 2 months, 3 months till that's done and dusted. I want my ambition is to have 3 different Facebook ads targeting 3 different needs and audiences. So at the moment, I'm targeting people who are coming towards the end of their career, needing more income for a better retirement. So that's done. So now I'm trying to do another one. And then finally, I've got to try and think of a third.
Okay.
My idea being that if that takes me 6, 7 months to do, by the time I'm finished, somebody will know how to work YouTube again properly, and then I can go back to YouTube because I'm struggling with YouTube at the moment.
Okay, cool. Have you
And
tried out Gemini yet or no?
No. What is
Yeah.
How do you mean? What is Gemini there?
Because there was talk, like how YouTube was getting very strict
Yes.
on the type of video ads you do.
Yes.
I thought because Gemini is actually Google's AI,
Yes.
if you then run your video script through Gemini, wouldn't it come back with what you could or couldn't do? Like you could do it through
That's worth
ChatGPT,
that's
but
worth trying.
yeah,
That's worth
because
trying.
Gemini is part of Google, so it theoretically it should give you the right answers, you would think.
It's a nice thought, but I've worked in companies before.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily chat just because they got the same blazer on. But
Okay.
I will give it a go. No,
Yeah.
but that's my 1-year plan to do 3 different avatars, therefore different audiences on Facebook, replicate them in YouTube, and then finally try and get an article out.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question? I must go back soon. Thanks, Mitch. Got to go. Got to jump. Got to go. Yeah, everyone's saying they've got to go. Let's go. And any more questions? Otherwise, we can go. Okay, folks. Chat to you all later. Chat to you all in the week. Cheers, hey.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.